If you'd think about what I've said, and let me know if anything occurs to you.
I will. Most certainly.
Chief Inspector, message for you from Mr. Rydell. Could you call at his house when you get back to Oxford?
Thank you.
I've been waiting long.
When we last spoke, Chief Inspector, I was less than honest with you.
Concerning what, sir?
The Curzon Company was moving into Eastern Europe. They were planning a partnership with Reed Electronics.
We found that out for ourselves, sir.
Why didn't you tell us before?
I wasn't supposed to know. Harry told me. He was against it. Asked if I'd help him prevent it. I did. But in doing so, I compromised myself professionally.
How did you stop it?
Harry and I found out that James was buying up Reed shares in advance of the deal. Harry was able to have him thrown out of the company. Don't you see? With James gone, Harry was able to block the deal.
So Sir John fired his own son?
He had no choice. It's a rule laid down by Emily's father to ensure absolute loyalty. No director can own shares in another company.
It's a pretty harsh rule.
James was out. The only way back for him was as sole survivor. There's no one left to run the firm but him. He must have killed them. And I drove him to it. A client came to me. He'd been asked to sell his shares in Reed. The price was more than fair. I became suspicious.
That the buyer knew about the partnership with Curzon?
Yes. There was an excellent chance of Reed share prices rising when the deal was announced. So I went to Harry. We discovered the buyer was James. He'd been using intermediaries, but Harry was well enough connected to get to the truth. When I went to Harry, I betrayed my client's confidence, Chief Inspector.
And gave Harry a hold over you?
Right. He would have used it to discredit me. Have me removed as Emily's advisor.
You've been very protective of her, Mr. Rydell.
Someone had to be. I've watched them destroying her year after year. You should have seen her. Once she had everything. Beauty. Such wealth.
Beauty and riches, but no love.
Oh, I think she had that, Sergeant. For a while.
Why didn't you take her away when you had the chance?
Why? Because it wasn't me, Inspector. I love her, yes. But it wasn't me she loved. She only told me because she had to. She had a child by him. I was to ensure it received its inheritance. The child died.
Who was the man, Mr. Rydell?
She'd never say. Only that he'd been bought off by the Balcombs. She's come through all that, Inspector. When Sir John died, I told myself it could have been anyone. But Harry, too? It has to be James. And I provoked him. I did it for her.
You haven't been saying silly things, have you, Mummy? To the police?
I don't know what you're talking about. They ask me questions, and I answer them. Nothing more.
I can't see it, sir. Killing his father and his brother.
It makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, but he's not stupid. He must have realised we'd find out he'd been removed from the company.
But we'd have to prove that he killed them, and we can't, can we? He has everything he ever wanted. He could live with us suspecting him. With the whole world suspecting him, for that matter. Call his house, ask him to come in.
You know, we've never considered Rydale as a suspect. He loved her and hated them.
Harry Balcom was his guarantee that the company would stay as it is. Why should he want to kill him?
We could have talked at home, Chief Inspector.
We didn't want to distress your mother, Mr. Balcom.
What could you have to say that would distress her?
We know you lost your position with Curzon, Mr. Balcom.
Had lost, Chief Inspector. With Father and Harry gone, I now have complete control. Every cloud has a silver lining.
Does it?
Or do you think it's more? That maybe I made my own luck? Well, that's understandable. Even if it means you think me incredibly stupid. My predicament was known to others, for God's sake.
You were stupid enough to get caught buying shares in another company.
Well, who'd have thought old Harry would have the wit to tumble that wheeze?
Where were you when Harry was killed?
In Oxford. I'd gone to do some shopping. I needed some shirts.
Can you prove that?
No, I didn't buy any. There was nothing I liked.
And you were in your room the night your father died?
Yes. And if I was going to do for Harry, I'd have chosen something more imaginative than pushing him down a gully.
Your brother still has to be formally identified. I wonder, would you do that for us? Is that your brother, Mr. Balcom?
Yes, that's him.
Thank you.
What's that on his chest?
It's a stab wound, Mr. Balcom.
They said his neck had been broken.
Your brother was stabbed with a chisel. There were a set of initials scratched on it, SF.
You're a liar. What are you trying to pull, Morse? You're a bloody liar!
I want to go home. I feel ill. Seeing him. Harry, I feel ill.
Lewis.
Come on, Mr. Balcom.
Do you think he did it, Morse?
No. No, I don't.
Then you know we can't hold him.
Yes. But he knows something about the weapon that killed Harry. I know he does.
I agree. He reacted so wildly when he saw the stab wound. That's not like him to...
Well, of course he did. It was in the middle of his brother's chest. And that's what his lawyer will say.
You can finish for the night. I'll lock up.
Oh, thank you, sir. That's very kind of you.